Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another INART Lord of the Rings 1/6 scale figure unboxing and review. Today, we're taking a look at Legolas. Now, I got mine direct from INART themselves. I've popped a link to their site in the description. While you're down there, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button, so you're notified as soon as brand new INART or Lord of the Rings content goes live. Okay, now before we get started, I need to get something off my chest. A lot of y'all already know this about me. I am not the biggest Lord of the Rings fan out there. I've seen the movies, I'm a casual Lord of the Rings fan, I like Legolas, I enjoyed Orlando Bloom's performance as the character, I have Gandalf, I've got Aragorn. That's why I decided to cop this. But if I don't know something very scene specific from a certain part of a movie that I just happened to miss upon watching it, I apologize in advance for that. I will absolutely do my best. As for the box art, there's this orange/brown tinted clear plastic slip cover over the top of the main box. I wish they would frost these because the glossy clear plastic gets scratched up very easily. That is so much nicer. The entire inner box is covered in green felt. It adds so much to the unboxing experience. Then we've got this gold foil ring up front that rotates round, gold foil text for the Lord of the Rings logo, and Legolas's name in the middle, once again, gold foil. This video is brought to you by JustinsCollection.shop, the home of the figure first aid kit, as well as other accessories to help your collection be the best it can be. The first aid kit contains multiple tools to help you with maintenance, styling rooted hair, and much more. We also sell crotch grabbers, soft rubber tips to prevent damage, and they're compatible with most modern Hot Toys base molds. Acrylic risers come in multi-packs, they're optically clear, thick and sturdy, and stackable. Check out the link to JustinsCollection.shop in the description. Like seriously, I don't want to minimize how good this box feels. It's so classy. On the side of it, Lord of the Rings, gold foil, and a darker print that's actually a close-up shot of Legolas on the back, spilling over the edge. Then we've got his name up top and some other text below that. Flipping open the front cover, held in place with magnets, the felt continues on the inside, which is a nice touch. Literature packet right up top. Make sure you take some time to study the instructions because, as you can see, some assembly is required with Legolas. He comes packaged without his head sculpt on. First in-hand impressions for Legolas's body. So far, so good. There's a decent amount of weight to it. Not overly heavy, but not too light feeling either. And I'm liking the material choices for the outfit. Very lightweight fabrics. What we're going to do now is get all of his accessories laid out in the light box and take a closer look at everything he comes with. Starting off with the display base first. It's simple. Just is. It's a small footprint rectangular base. It's got this elven architecture sort of look about it with the sculpt work around the edges, how they're curved in like that. The gold inlay up front for his name, that's classy. The darker grey wash in the sculpted motif up top, and there's texture all over it. But no magnets. They've ditched the magnets in favour of a real die-cast metal crotch grabber arm, and then the crotch grabber itself is also die-cast. I like this. It's a lot more secure than the magnets, don't get me wrong, but I also would have liked the magnets. Like, do both. That way you don't have to have the crotch grabber if you can get the figure to be stable on the display base just using the magnets alone. You know, something to consider in art going forward. So we get two different cloaks, the brown velvety feeling one that he wears in Rivendell, and then the other that's more of a hooded cape. We'll try both of these out on him a little bit later. The parcel that he pops down in the boat, I believe, there's some gold line work on the fabric before it's been tied up. There is something inside of it. Feels like a sculpted plastic box. It's not squishy. I am not going to undo that not to find out. The elven whey bread. One small bite is enough to fill a man's tummy, apparently the lambas. It's a pretty small and very scene-specific accessory. I don't think I'm ever going to have my Legolas displayed with it, but it's here. It's totally an option. Two real die-cast metal blades. They are really spiky as well. They feel like they could do some damage. There's sheaths on his back that you can slide these into, but so far, I'm really impressed with the detail work on the blades as well as the handles. 6 arrows in total. You can pop these in his quiver. All sculpted plastic. How's the detail work on the arrowheads? Quite good, I think. Dark green for the main body, gold for the line work, and some sculpted texture for the feathers. His bow is sculpted plastic. There's a wood grain texture to it, so it looks like it could foreseeably be made of wood. Then the string is actual elastic, and when you pull it back, the bow flexes. I wouldn't leave him in a pulling the bowstring back pose for overly long because it puts a lot of pressure on the ABS plastic bow. And lastly, a full array of hands, and INART, they're at the top of their game when it comes to 1/6 scale hands. The skin texture, the vein work, the wrinkling, the shading, all of it just comes together to make some of the best 1/6 scale hands in the business, not to mention how natural the gestures look. These are the relaxed open palm hands. They're already installed on him right out of the box. 2 gripping hands, I would suggest heating them up first before trying to pop anything in them, just because the plastic they've used is kind of rigid. Bow and arrow hands, this one is meant to hold the bow, this one the arrow and the string. 2 more gripping hands, this one potentially for the elven waybread, and this could be used for one of his swords or even the bow, I guess. Actually, I take it back, this one is meant to be paired up with the waybread. What we're going to do now is get Legolas himself out here. Standing straight up and down in the light box, no crazy poses or accessories or anything like that. Well, I've popped the arrows in the quiver and the blades in their sheaths. Everything else is stock. I wish other companies loved their lines as much as INART loves their Lord of the Rings one, because they are showing so much love to Lord of the Rings and Legolas. The likeness is something we need to discuss off the turntable, but for the most part, proportions are spot on. The outfit looks accurate, well-tailored, solid material choices, and he comes with just the right amount of accessories, scene-specific stuff from the first movie. With him standing there, rotating around in front of me, that looks like a real person. The way he carries himself, the expression on his face, how everything fits him, that is Orlando Bloom in costume shrunk down to 1/6 scale. If you've got this guy on the way, if you've been waiting for the best 1/6 scale Legolas, this is it right here. Up close and personal, kicking things off with Legolas's head sculpt, it's beautiful. Is it perfect? Maybe. It's very close to being perfect, but from certain angles, I do start to lose the likeness. Let's discuss detail first. Skin texture, huge tick. The little freckles and the moles and whatnot, the undulations for the skin, like his forehead is not completely smooth, it's slightly bumpy, that adds to realism. The eyebrows look good, there's painted eyelashes, and a lot of life to the eyes, plus he's got moving eyes, which we will discuss. The ears suitably pointy, there's some red shading over the top, then the hair. All of the little strands of hair glued in place to form the hairline, and we've got braids. Those are real braids. I've got no idea how they managed to do that. Even the big one around the back is a real braid. Luckily, he's got this slicked back hairstyle, so taming any fuzzy bits is quite straightforward. Grab some product. I like to use Dolphy water wax. It's specifically designed for doll hair. Rub it into your fingers, then you can push the hair down. Super easy to manage. But likeness, I said we discussed likeness, let's do it. From right there, I can see Orlando Bloom. As I start to turn it, it gets better, then it gets worse, then it gets better again. Not to say that it's a bad Legolas head sculpt, it absolutely isn't. But at the same time, it's not 100% flawless. I'd say this head sculpt is an 8.5 to a 9 out of 10. If they'd have tweaked the likeness, could it have gotten to a 10? Yeah, I think so. Now, to move the eyes around, you need to remove the head sculpt. It's on a cylindrical neck connector too, so you can adjust it up and down depending on the pose you're going for. It's a height adjustable head sculpt. There's heaps of access inside the sculpt. To move the eyes, you don't have to use a tool, not that they give you one anyway. With some side eye, let's pop this back on the body and discuss. Oh yeah, 100%. This head sculpt rocks the side eye. If a sculpt has better and worse angles with this head sculpt, the 3/4 turn I find to be best, you may as well just work with it. No point fighting it. Move the eyes off to the side if you think the 3/4 turn will do the head sculpt justice. Meet that angle with the eyes, and then the head sculpt will look all the better for it. It's worth noting that the head sculpt is separate to the neck, although you already know that because we took the head sculpt off the neck a second ago. The skin texture and skin tone match between the sculpt and the neck, pretty flawless. Moving on to the outfit, it looks accurate, it's nice and layered, and it's not overly bulky. It could have been, thanks to all of the layers, but it isn't. Thin, lightweight, textured, felt-feeling fabrics. They drape perfectly, they don't bunch or buckle or look weird. We've got the metallic blue undershirt with the laced up sections on the inside, the gauntlets over the top. They feel like leather, they look like leather, they smell like leather, so that's what I'm going to run with. There's also the gold detail work. The belt, real metal hardware, the harness, real metal hardware, and the clasp underneath the outer layer, also die-cast metal. The shiny metallic silver detail work on the dark green section of the cloak up front, I've got no idea how they managed to print that stuff on this felt material. Because getting the lines to be as sharp as they are on a heavily textured fabric is never easy, yet they make it look easy. The hair does tuck underneath the harness and the quiver and the sheaths for the blades. I like to put it off to one side, but you can totally work with it, do whatever you want really. More die-cast buckles on the straps for the back, then the swords are currently in the sheaths, and we've got a sculpted plastic quiver with all 6 of the arrows installed in it. They fit in there quite securely, they are not flopping round. The sculpted peacock with the feathers, there's some green paint apps, a lot of texture, both on the brown and also integrated into the design, a black wash over the top, highlighting all of it. So for me, the biggest standout with INART has always been the little details. The stuff that other companies usually miss. They're not always perfect at it, sometimes they miss a couple of things, but check this out. The leaf on the belt, the embossed patterns up top as well on the harness, and these, the elastic straps on the metal bits that stick out on the gauntlets, holding them in place, cinching them around his sleeves, and the blue fabric for the sleeves, just long enough to cover up the wrist pegs so you are never going to see them. The trousers are a lightweight, almost towel microfiber feeling fabric. There's enough excess fabric going on here that I don't think they're going to limit posing at all. They're also a little stretchy. The boots are sculpted plastic, split cut boot design for maximum range of motion. All of this wrinkling, the simulated pulling as though they're being cinched around his ankles, pulled taut by the laces there, the leather grain texture, the lighter brown wash, the gold paint apps on that section, the weathering on the underside of the tread. These boots, just the boots, have so much love put into them. But yeah, that's why I keep coming back to INART for stuff like this, because they go to town with the detailing. There's 2 cloaks for us to try out. I'm leaning towards one versus the other, but let's give them both a go. You know what? I like it. I'm considering displaying him like this. Technically speaking, you're meant to have the harness and the quiver and the swords on him with this look. There's even some holes in the cloak around the back to accommodate that. But needing to undo the buckles and then thread the straps through the cape to get that done, I'm not going to try my hand at undoing any of those belts. It's just far too scary. I don't want to damage anything, and I don't want to not be able to do it all back up again. So if I was to rock him like this, it would be hair down the front the way I have it, but no harness, no quiver, and no swords. This brooch up front, the leaf, is made of metal, and there's some green paint, some enamel inside the sculpted detail. Ooh, it's a no from me. This is something that he wears, but he's not going to wear it in my collection. The velvet they've gone with is quite thick. It drapes well. It creases almost in scale for 1/6, but the weave is too big. It's bulky on him. It hides his proportions. It hides his outfit. It doesn't flatter him, is what I'm trying to say. The color's right. The sheen is right. But it's not my preferred option for Legolas, not even close. Back to stock, reinstalled the harness, hair running down his back. The harness isn't that difficult to remove. There's a die-cast pin that slots underneath this front strap. It's just that when you're trying to undo buckles and whatnot to thread it through the cape/hooded cloak, that's when it starts to get difficult. But taking it off is not overly challenging. For a quick side-by-side comparison, Legolas on the left, Aragorn in the middle, Gandalf on the right. The Fellowship is taking shape. Slowly, but it's getting there. How do they look standing side by side? Bloody brilliant. I cannot wait to slowly but surely flesh out the Fellowship in my collection in 1/6 scale. Going over articulation, starting off with Legolas's head sculpt. Fixed neck is part of the body, but a double ball peg underneath the sculpt, and it is height adjustable. Looking forward to there, just enough range for me, looking up to there, further than forward at least. Swivel, and plenty of pivot side to side. Arms will go up to there at the shoulders. The outfit allows the arms to move pretty freely, going forward and back, completely flushed down by his sides. Butterfly joint at the shoulder that hinges up and down. Swivel at the bicep, double bend at the elbow, going the full way past 90. Then for the wrist peg, it's a hinge and swivel. Torso crunching forward, it springs back a touch, but that's because of the multiple layers for the outfit. Going back to there, and it holds, swivel, and pivot side to side. Legs will go forward to there, relatively unhindered by everything else. Going out to there, swivel at the upper thigh. Double bend at the knee, going past 90. Then a split cut boot design and a double ball peg for the ankles, good for forward and back, rotation, as well as some ankle tilt. Wrapping up on INART's Legolas from Lord of the Rings, get this. This has been one of the most enjoyable INART experiences that I've had. The hair has been easy to work with. The eyes are easy to move. Just take the head sculpt off and move the eyes around, then pop it right back on. It's a height adjustable head sculpt. The outfit is all made of durable materials and everything is easy to install. The only thing that is tricky is the harness, but even that, if you spent a little bit of time with it with some tweezers, you'd be able to get it done. There is not any single one thing that's like a fly in the ointment that has me sitting here thinking, oh, well, it's great, but you don't want to get it because of X thing. The only little complaint is the likeness isn't a 10. That's what we've come to expect from INART. Anything less, people start to get upset. And while this does resemble Orlando Bloom as Legolas, it's a younger Orlando Bloom, and the likeness is stronger from certain angles. I am not trying to sugarcoat that. I'm being very open and honest about my opinion. I still love this figure, but the head sculpt could have been better. So at the end of the day, do I recommend this? Yes, 100%. It's still the very best 1/6 scale Legolas on the market. I think you are going to have a blast with this piece. Now, I got mine direct from INART. I've popped a link to their site in the description. While you're down there, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button if you like the sound of seeing your name in the end credits of my reviews. Like, comment, and subscribe. We'll catch you in the next video.